once again to barrister and political commentator Steven Barrett. Welcome, Steven.
Good evening, Kev. It's an absolute pleasure, always.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, we're going to kick off with, you saw the excruciating shenanigans going on in Sharm El Sheikh yesterday, where, you know, make no mistake, Donald Trump picked out the leaders, the world leaders, who he'd summoned to pay homage to him on his day of triumph. He deserved that, by the way. It was a strange sight, but he was enjoying himself. But he picked out the recognisers of Palestine and deliberately humiliated them. Macron, Carney of Canada, and of course our man, Keir Starmer. And Starmer, you know, as I said in my monologue, a better operator on the world stage, on the public stage, would have managed to just about negotiate this. But of course, Starmer made a kind of comedic balls up of it. It was just excruciating. People roaring with laughter at this odd little man, you know, behind Trump, called to the stage, then Trump shoving him back. He did the same to Macron. But our man, I mean, it does bring into question, you know, is he really up to this job? You have to be able to perform in public. This guy is an awkward, embarrassing clown who half the time just humiliates this nation. Look at this, look at this. It's just pathetic. People were roaring with laughter all over the world. You see, so he thought he was going to make a speech then, and he just shoved him back. Look at that, it's just so bad. And it got worse. So what we've done, Stephen, we'll get your thoughts on all of this in a minute, but we've put together Starmer's show reel of humiliations, embarrassments. It's quite long. We've called it the Star Gaff reel. Here he is, our Prime Minister, who answers to the name of Mr. Bean.
Call again for immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the hostages.
Have you lost control of your MPs, Prime Minister? Will you rule out...
대통령 좀 오십시오.
Okay. Not lost a game under the Labour government in 2024.
Is football coming home, Prime Minister?
It looks like it.
Well, welcome. And it's good that we had a long conversation on the phone. When you want, give me your hand there, pal. And we're the best of allies, maybe in the whole world. And we really need to continue to cooperate. And a lot we can talk about.
A document. This is sorry about that. This is it.
A very important document. A letter. He sent his best wishes and his regards, of course. But he also asked me to bear this letter and bring it to you. So can I present the letter from the King to you?
Thank you very much. A great, great gentleman.
That we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies, but we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there. We risk becoming an island of strangers.
That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
A NATO country has just had to defend itself against Russian drones. Now, more than ever, we need our ambassador to Washington fully focused on this issue and liaising closely with America. Does the Prime Minister have full confidence in Peter Mandelson?
The ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret for his association with him. He's right to do so. I have confidence in him, and he's playing an important role in the UK-US relationship. She has now referred herself to the independent advisor. That is the right thing to do. But I can be clear, I am very proud to sit alongside a Deputy Prime Minister who is building 1.5 million homes, who is bringing the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation, and who's come from a working-class background to be Deputy Prime Minister of this country.
The thing is, Stephen, I mean, that's hilarious. It's ridiculous. This guy has no idea how to behave in public. And that is a bad trait for a Prime Minister of this country. Yesterday in Sharm El Sheikh, people were laughing at him all over the world. And it was very funny, but it was kind of humiliating to be British yesterday, to see the way that he embarrassed himself, got embarrassed by the president, couldn't handle it. So we can laugh at this guy, and we saw him there. The Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner. I'm so proud to say, Peter Mandelson has my full confidence. Shaking hands with the Korean president's translator as opposed to the Korean president, and so on and so forth. That awful moment where he looked like a servant picking up the documents outside the White House. And my personal, I don't find it funny, I find it infuriating when J.D. Vance quite rightly said, well, we're very worried about freedom of speech in Britain, freedom of expression. And we're very proud of free speech. We've had it in Britain. We've had free speech for a very, very long time. Shut up! You're sending people to jail for tweets. How dare you say this? So this guy, I think yesterday we reached peak embarrassment with this guy, and you've got to start asking questions. Is he up to this job? Is he really up to this job? He cannot perform in public. It's a joke, a sick joke.
Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, is Alan Partridge without the natural charm or charisma of the character. We are just doomed by this oddly weak and odd little man who may have all sorts of secrets that one hears gossip about, but honestly, the product we see is bad enough. I don't think there needs to be something hidden beneath the surface. This is pretty rubbish. And he is a product of a system that produced him. Okay, so let's be absolutely honest. The Blairite state took him as a relatively young man, and I do like to be quite kind to him. I like to flag that he was handsome, mostly because I once was handsome too, and I too have lost that.
I find that very difficult to believe, Stephen. I really do. I like having you on the show, but just don't come on and just tell lies like that.
But anyway, he is a product of that state. They took him, and they made him a KC. They probably made him a barrister, and then they shower gifts and praise upon him. His entire life, he's been elevated as the second coming of Blair, and well, he's just a pale imitation. You've got to give Blair some credit. He wouldn't behave like this. It was obviously humiliating, and in fact, I note that Tony Blair wasn't there, so he had the common sense to stay away.
Well, he was around, wasn't he? But he didn't get involved in that kind of clown show. He avoided the stage and everything. He was in the environment. A
lot of British tourists were in Sharm El Sheikh yesterday, but I think that's all we need to say. But what I want to flag is that the President of the United States has done a remarkable job of singling out not liking our Prime Minister and criticising our government, while making it incredibly clear that he likes us. And so if you take, probably this is the falling out equivalent of like when George W. Bush fell out with the French. Yeah. And he wanted French fries called freedom fries. And, that there was no real separation between the French people and the French government. They were all in it together, and they were all wrong.
Yeah.
This president, to his absolute credit, has made it unavoidably clear that he likes us. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, he can humiliate our Prime Minister as much as he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we'll talk about this after the break, but this government, they've made they've turned lying into an art form. I've never known a government like, I've seen a few governments, I've seen a few prime ministers in my overly long life. This is the worst one ever. I've never seen a prime minister and a cabinet who just lie. They just lie and they lie and they lie. In the past, it's been quite painful to see prime ministers as they circuitously try to skirt round the truth. But they always stopped at directly lying to the people. They were careful about that. It was part and parcel of the culture of politics, of British politics. Now we have a government, they just lie to us.
Keir Starmer could catch on fire in the House of Commons and would just deny it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We've reached a point of absolute lying, and it's not sustainable. Of course, politics involves a certain degree of illusion and, controlling issues. And even Churchill couldn't admit war secrets because they were operationally important to our safety during the Second World War. So he had to, from a certain point of view, lie. But this is beyond a joke. They just lie about everything. Apparently, the migrants are now all going to need A-level English. I mean, this is just rubbish. We know it's not going to happen. You're just lying. And there is this old quote about a Marxist Soviet state, which is that they lie, we know they lie, they know we know they lie, and then they carry on lying. And yet we're a democracy who appear to have accidentally become a Marxist dictatorship with the least impressive dictator anyone's ever seen. I mean, he's just rubbish.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's very sort of Eastern European socialist, Soviet sort of behaviour, where, politicians directly lie to the people know that they're lying, but they have to pretend that they're not lying. The difference being is we still have a vaguely free society here, so they lie to us, we know that they're lying to us, and unlike in Russia, we actually say so. And we call them out because their lies remind me of it, like kids who haven't done their homework. Sorry, sir, I missed the bus. They're pathetic little schoolboy lies. They're ridiculous. And